Guys, if you want to learn how to not goof up, then you better watch this one. In today's episode, we are discussing how to pressure wash a deck like a professional. Well, that's easy enough, guys. Mr. Bubbles, we utilize a 4-step approach, and I am going to put that up here for you guys to make it super simple. Number 1, you're going to pre-treat. Number 2, you are going to pressure wash, which is what you see me doing right here. Number 3, you're going to rinse. And then finally, you are going to post-treat. Now, unfortunately, the pre-treat part, you guys didn't get to see. That did happen off camera, and the reason for that being was when I pulled up here, I mean, the homeowner was at my heels. He was asking me tons of questions, and I guess what had happened was a couple of years back, they had somebody come out and pressure wash the deck, and they busted up a bunch of the boards and stuff, and they were a little bit skeptical, which makes sense. You want to make sure, guys, when you're out there that you're being a professional. Watch these videos and then go out and practice the techniques that we teach you here, because, this is the way that professionals do things, because, you don't want to go out there and damage people's stuff. It's going to get you bad reviews, and then obviously, customers are not going to call you, and you're not going to be able to build your portfolio and all that. So, and it was the housewife is the one that actually hired us to come out here, and how we got this job actually is something that I've mentioned before, was through the Vow Pack. Now, the Vow Pack goes out every month in the mail, and there's a $50 coupon in there for people, and we get about 30 to 50 customers a month because of it. And it is expensive, but guys, this was a $1,700 job. But this job, we did their driveway, we did their house, and then the deck that you see me doing here. And by the way, so the way that it worked is when I got here, I did all the plant protection stuff. And by the way, guys, this is very important what I'm about to say. This deck here had something like 30, 40 planters on top with a bunch of furniture. And you got to take that stuff into account, when you're out there doing pricing, because these people, they were, in their 70s, they were not going to move all of that stuff. So we took that into account for our pricing. So we charged for that because I knew that it was going to take me, roughly between 45 minutes to an hour to be able to take that stuff off and then move it back once I was done. So, you want to make sure that you're out there, because in that span of time, 1 hour, I could have been out there doing a house and making more money. So, of course, we're going to pass that on to the customers. So, but yeah, the woman hired us here, and when I got here, I did all the prep work. So I moved all the plants. I covered the Verizon box. I covered all the outlets. And then what I did is, because I was doing a house wash anyway, when I came through, I just I upped a little bit the sauce, because we have a metering system. I'm using my AR-45 to pre-treat this. So what I did is I upped it a little bit, to 3.5 for the deck, and then I essentially let that sauce sit. Now it sat for, I want to say, man, it was about an hour and a half, guys, because, I actually finished everything here first. And then finally, when there was nothing left to do, I came back here and started pressure washing this. So, yeah, like I said, unfortunately, you didn't get to see that. But that's all I did there. It literally took, man, guys, I want to say it was like 4 minutes to soft wash this deck with a 3.5% solution. Now, for you guys that are new to the wash game and you don't even understand what I'm talking about when I say 3.5%, I'm going to put on screen here for you guys our thumbnail to our episode 10. Guys, in that episode, we break down for you all the essential chemicals of the pressure washing business, your SH, your degreaser, your rust removal. And what's really, really awesome about that episode is we share with you our batch mixing calculator. And with that calculator, you're going to be able to mix your own bleach. So I highly recommend you watch that episode. That's going to be a tremendous resource for you guys. So the bottom line is, the chemical got to sit. This deck was full. I mean, guys, it was full of outdoor organics. It had mildew. It had a tremendous amount of algae, a little bit of mold on it. So I let that sauce sit, and it killed all the organics. And that sort of mildew-looking residue, that's what you see, guys. That's the residue that's left over from the dead organics. And so if you want to wash a deck like a professional, guess what? You're not going to be able to do it if you don't first pre-treat the wood, because this is what softens up all of that bacteria, and then you're just going to come through. You see my tip there. It's about 3-4 inches away from the wood, so I'm not risking scarring up or messing up, chipping up the wood or anything, because I'm too far away. And all I'm really doing here is I'm just rinsing off that dead debris. I'm not really pressure washing it, you see? So that's what you want to do. And the technique here, by the way, guys, on step number 2, the pressure wash step, is you want to go crack, crack, middle. You see how I'm doing it there? Crack, crack, middle. And this is important because every deck that you go to, right? What happens is through the years, that crack fills up with things. It fills up with bacteria, moss. In this case here, they had a tremendous amount of plants on their deck. So you can imagine the cracks were full of dirt and all kinds of stuff. So, you want to make sure that you clear that crack out, because one, it's going to cause and create good water flow on the deck. But also, more importantly, basically you're rinsing the deck also as you pressure wash it, because all of that debris that you're pressure washing off, it's all flying right through the cracks there. So you see that, guys? Like, I go crack, crack, middle, crack, crack, middle. And, that's what you want to do. And, if you do it that way, you just practice that technique. If you notice on screen here, for example, I'm keeping my my right arm on the gun, and it does not move. And you see that? Look, see, my arms are basically not moving at all. And I just walk it. I just keep the wand as straight as I possibly can, and I walk it as I go. And then literally in my head, I'm going crack, crack, middle, crack, crack, middle. And then the other thing that's very important, you see I'm walking the whole length of the board here as I go. And again, I'm just cleaning out those cracks, and then I'm making sure that everything is off of this deck. Because also that pre-treatment, when you do it, man, guys, that thing is like super slippery. So you want to make sure that you don't have homeowners come out and walk on it, because I mean, guys, I can't even tell you how many times I've slipped and I've fallen, because it's like walking on ice. So you got to make sure that you rinse that stuff off. So, but anyway, this technique here, guys, it's just something that it's going to take time to master. I always mention this. It takes 3 essential things for you to make it in a pressure washing business. And when I say make it, I mean thrive and be successful and make a lot of money in it. One, you got to have the skill, and this is what we're talking about. Skill, it comes from years of being out in the field and just practice, right? You got to get out there and practice. Now, you're here learning this new technique of how to pressure wash wood. So now you go out in the field and you practice that crack, crack, middle, and not stopping. You see how I don't stop in the middle? You see this? How I just keep going all the way from all the way to the beginning, all the way to the end. You see how I never stop? In the beginning, there was a couple spots where I stopped, but it was because where the boards, this isn't one long board, by the way. You can't tell that from the screen. But this whole deck is built with boards from different sizes. So a couple of the boards that I did in the beginning had a bunch of moss and stuff, and I stopped to be able to, where the boards met, to be able to get rid of that moss. But you want to run the whole length of the board without stopping, because where you stop, you're going to create a little mark, right? You're going to etch up the board right there. And probably, maybe, that's what happened to the other guy. And here, I'm not doing that. You see that? Look, at no point do I stop. And I go crack, crack, middle. I'm really, literally in my head, I'm going crack, crack, middle, crack, crack, middle. And the more you do, it's like anything else in life, guys. I always liken it to like playing an instrument or a sport. The more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to become at it, right? So, but that's what you want to do to be able to make that money, because it takes skill. And again, guys, there's no shortcut for that. You're going to have to spend time out there and put in the work in order to acquire that. And it comes from years and years and years. I mean, this deck here, guys, I stopped counting how many decks I've done, like a couple thousand decks, ago. I mean, I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of decks. So, once you have that experience and you have a technique down, you're going to get there. And you just got to get out there and, like I said, practice, practice, practice. And next, we talked a little bit about this already, chemical knowledge. See, I knew that I was not going to be able to clean this deck without a solution, the pre-treatment. So, chemical knowledge gives you a huge advantage because it's a time saver, and then plus, you're actually doing the job of a professional. That's why homeowners don't have access to the stuff that we have access to. They can't get the chemicals that we can get. So, you want to have that chemical knowledge. And then finally, superior commercial industrial level equipment. I mean, I just told you I use my AR-45 roof pump for me to do this job. And that's why, with the pre-treatment, it literally took me minutes. And by the way, I said, I was doing the house wash with the 1.5% mix. And then I went to my metering system, upped it to a 3.5%. And it's just a soft washing part of my rig is a $7,000 system. You see what I'm saying? So, of course, it's going to give me a huge advantage because it's going to help me save time. And I was able to do that, let the chemical sit, and then now I can come through and just rinse it off just like that. And the chemical knowledge will help you in so many other areas of your business. Like I recently went to do a house, and it was a simple house wash. And, like a 2,400 square foot colonial, 2-story colonial. And I mean, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that dirty, but in the back, she had, guys, one of the nastiest rust stains I've seen in a hot minute. It started all the way up in the gutter. It looked like a waterfall of rust. And I told the woman right then and there, when I did my walkthrough, I said, hey, rust removal is not part of the house wash. Now, we can get rid of it, but, and I told her the price. In that case, it was $289. And she was like, oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, go ahead and do it. So the house wash, the house wash with the rust together was a nice little ticket. I think it was $399 if I remember correct, $699 for everything. But the bottom line is, I was able to make that because of my chemical knowledge. So, you want to make sure you go out there and you educate yourself. And that's what you're doing, right? That's why you're watching this video, for example, is because you are trying to acquire knowledge. And that's why you are going to succeed in this business, by the way, because you have a student mentality. But by the way, acquiring knowledge does not mean anything if you're not going to go out there and apply that knowledge to your business. That's definitely the most important part. So you see me here, guys, again, just going back to the task at hand here, you're going crack, middle. And something I think I forgot to mention this, a lot of the washing I had done also, like when I started a deck pressure washing, I started from the outside and I worked my way inside because I want all of that debris to blow inside. And then once I do the inside, then it blows out to the outside. Like, I'm not doing this and then I go around and do the outside. That wouldn't make any sense because then I would blow all the debris from the outside part of the deck. So you always want to start on the outside. But like I said, I mean, there was just so much I could do here because the homeowners, and it was so funny because you see that window right there, guys, that little, I don't know if that's a bay window, but to the kitchen, the two homeowners were basically watching me the entire time. So, I didn't want to, because I was recording here and everything, so I didn't want to push my luck with them, you know what I mean? So, but that's it, guys. That's what I want you to practice, that technique. You can see here, look at the difference, the contrast right there, guys. And by the way, they're going to paint this. We gave them, at the end here, we gave them the number to our deck restoration guy. That's what he does for a living. He paints decks, and he can completely rejuvenate a deck and stuff like that. So we like giving work to our local local businesses that we partner up with. So, but that's what you want to do. And what I really wanted to talk to you guys about in this video, because I mean, a lot of what I'm doing here, you can just watch and see the technique. I actually decided not to put this one on time lapse so you guys could get a really clear picture of how I'm doing this. This is very important because, guys, if you copy this technique and you copy my process, now I know you guys are out there in the field and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Mr. Bubbles way is the only way. Guys, there's multiple ways of doing the same thing, but I've been in a business for 10 years and I developed a system for how we do everything as a company. But if you're out there and you don't have a system yet, you're welcome to copy my system until you develop a system for yourself. And that is the point of this. So going back to what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, guys, I've been getting a fair amount of emails from people. And by the way, I love it when you guys email me and I love interacting with you guys. So, you know, my email is in the description below. If you have any questions for me, I will email you back. And I've been getting emails about, you know, what I do and what they should do in the winter time. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that. So a little history here, a little bit background on myself when I started in this business, guys. You know, my first 2 years in this business, I'll be totally frank with you guys, I did not make any money. And as a matter of fact, you know, 90% of businesses fail within their first 3 years in business. I mean, that's just the national statistics. And the reason why most businesses fail, guys, is because of obstacles. You know, throughout this entire process of running your own business, you're always going to run into an obstacle of some kind. And trying to survive the winter, for example, when there's no work, that's one of the obstacles. You're going to have to learn how to, you know, work your way around that. And the way that I did it, this is just the way that I did it. My first 2 years, I took out a loan. Now, obviously, you got to have good credit for that. I was fortunate. I did have good credit then. And I was able to just take out loans my first 2 years. But then what happened is my third year, I didn't really make any money because I was paying off those loans. And then my third year, I saved money to be able to pay my winter bills. So I'm going to give you guys like some tips on that front. But first, let me tell you guys, you know, my goal with this channel is to help you guys run a successful, thriving pressure washing business, right? And part of that to me is not you guys not having to go back to work in the winter to work for somebody else to be able to make money. That's not what I want you to do. What I want you to be able to do is take the winters off because, you know, this business is very demanding. When the work is in, right? And now I'm talking, you know, if I'm talking to you and you're in Florida or Texas or somewhere like that, maybe California where you guys work all year round, you know, that's fine. And you know, you're going to be busy and applying all the techniques and all of the marketing things that we've been teaching here in this channel. You're going to apply that to your business all year round. But I'm talking to the guys that are in Michigan. They're in the Northeast, and a bunch of guys that watch my channel are in New York and New Hampshire and Connecticut. I myself, I'm in Maryland, right? So, you know, we have pretty bad winters. So I'm going to tell you how in the last 5-6 years, how we've been doing it. And my advice to you, I have 2 things that I think will, you know, is going to be good for you in order for you to make money. So one thing that I will get out of the way right away, most of my technicians are on a 1099. And so, you know, I'm not going to go into what that means here. You can Google that. And then our managers are on a W-2. So our technicians, they do Uber and Lyft. So that's something that I recommend because, you know, you're not really working for somebody else. So I'm okay with that. I got a technician, he makes like $1,200, $1,300 a week during the winter, just doing both Uber Eats, I think is what he does, Uber Eats, and then he does Lyft. So that's a great option for you guys, for you to do that in the winter if you're not doing pressure washing. But one of the things that I do not recommend is for you to, you know, get a job where you actually have to clock in and you have a boss and all of that. And again, guys, my goal for you is that you don't do anything in the winter. Because what I want you to do in the winter is where you're going to be doing all of your game planning for the next wash season. This is where you're going to put into motion an aggressive marketing plan. Because think about this, guys. When the season is happening in real time and you're out there hustling, you're out there working, how much time do you really have for marketing? Yeah, not that much. So, we get a lot of our marketing done in the wintertime when there's a lot of downtime. That being said, you still have bills to pay. You're not there yet, but that's the goal of this channel, is to get you to a point where you can take off in the winters. And what I'm going to talk to you about that for doing that is two things. So one of the techniques is I prepay my bills, and this is what I want you guys to do. Now, honestly, you can take this advice or not. That's up to you. I've often said this on my channel. There's three types of people in this world. You have dumb people, smart people, and wise people. Dumb people never learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others. And smart people learn from their mistakes. It's better to be wise and learn from the mistakes of others, because that costs you less time, less headaches, and less money. So you want to learn from my mistakes, not from your own mistakes, right? So one of the things that I do is when my season starts in March, okay, what I do is I always prepay my winter bills. So in March, I'll pay March and April bills. So like, let's say, this is just an example. I'm throwing money out there, throwing money examples out there. Let's say your monthly bills are $3,000 a month. So when the money starts coming in March, you're going to pay $6,000. You're going to pay your rent, your car insurance, whatever fixed bills that you have, you're going to pay that 2 months in advance. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to pay March and April in March. And then when April comes around, you're paying May and June. So every month you're doing this for 4 or 5 months, all the way up to September, October. Then when winter rolls around, guess what? You're already 5 months ahead with all of your bills. So that's what I recommend you do. It's so funny. We're so complex as creatures because, whenever we see that we have money in our bank account, bam, we spend it. And most of us, if not all of us, are like this. So the best thing to do is take that money and pay your rent twice. Take that money, pay your cell phone 2 months in advance. Next month, do the same thing. Next month, do the same thing. And then you get to a point, typically I like to be 6 months. So what happens is in our company, Mr. Bubbles, and by the way, our fixed cost, I'm not talking variable costs like chemicals and gas, or labor, okay? I'm not talking those costs. I'm just talking like fixed costs. So things like insurance, health insurance, the company business insurance, the trucks, all of the fixed costs of the company is around $16,000 a month. So when we get to December, we're already paid up all the way through May of the following year. So guess what? I don't have to do anything in the wintertime because I literally have no bills to pay in the wintertime. All of those bills get paid while the money's coming in. That's what I recommend for you guys. Now, I'm going to mention something else here that I've never, ever, ever, ever brought this up on my channel. And the other thing is I recommend you invest in gold and silver bullion. If you do not know what that is, just look it up. I'll put up a picture here of where I get mine. Basically, imagine like a piece of silver the size of your iPhone, right? Like a 10-ounce silver bar. And that's what I did starting my year 5. This is how I paid my winter bills in year 5 is I would just, every week I would order a 10-ounce silver bar. And then at the end of the year, I would just go and cash it in. So it'd be like 35. Sometimes, I remember one year it was $48,000 worth of silver bars. So I don't sell my silver or my gold bullion anymore. Like right now, I have about 3,000 ounces of silver, because I've been collecting through the years. But back in the day, that's how I paid my winter bills, was by I did that for like 2-3 years before I started this new strategy that I just told you about. But anyway, so that's what I recommend. Pay your bills ahead of time. Every week, order yourself 10-ounce bar of silver. Save those in a vault somewhere, in a safe somewhere, and then at the end of the year, just cash that. Go get a check and put it in your bank account to pay your bills. Next thing I want to talk to you about is during the winter. Now, these next two strategies for making money in the winter, you're already going to have to kind of have a client base a little bit. You know, that's why it's important for you to have a good CRM program that we've been talking about. CRM stands for Customer Relations Management. I'll put a picture up here for you guys. We use 𝐷. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't make money off of promoting their service. I really, really just like their product, right? So you can use them. It's free to sign up. So what you're going to do is this winter, we made $28,000 cleaning dryer vents. Now, I'm not going to go into detail here of what that is and how it all works, but essentially, you know, I can send you guys a blueprint for that. You're just going to need a drill and some tools, and you just take your ladder up to the dryer vent and you clean that out, because those can cause house fires. So we have a little package, and I can send you also my flyer that I use for that. So we reached out to our customers in our CRM program and said, hey, we're going to be in a neighborhood cleaning out a dryer vent, and we charge $99 for that service. So again, if you want the blueprint for that, we made $27,000 this past winter doing that. So I highly recommend that, and I will send you the blueprint for that via email. The next thing that I recommend for you guys that you're new and you need to make money in the wintertime, I'm going to have to, you know what? I'll put this up on the screen for you guys. My concrete cleaning flyer, 6x9 postcard that I do in the wintertime. Literally, you just make yourself a couple thousand of these. You drive around neighborhoods looking for dirty driveways, not houses, driveways. And you just walk up and you say, hey, we got a driveway special that we're running in the neighborhood. And you pressure wash their driveway. So about 4 years ago, I did like 200 driveways in the winter. That was like, I made like $25,000 just doing driveways. Just literally, I printed out 5,000 of these things, and all winter long, I was just driving around looking for dirty driveways. So those are the two that I recommend for you guys right there. You got, again, this past winter, we just made $27,000 cleaning out dryer vents. And again, I'll send you my blueprint for that. And then the other thing is concrete cleaning. You want to make sure that you add that as a service, because it's easy to do, and there's tons and tons and tons of money to do it. So anyway, back to the task at hand. That's what I'm doing here is the post street. I already rinsed. And if you want my solution for that, how we do that, I will send that to you guys as well. But thank you very much for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate you watching this how to pressure wash a deck video. I also highly recommend you guys watch the next one as well. Guys, in that episode, we are soft washing a wooden shed together. And wait until you see how that came out. Spoiler alert, customer was super happy. By the way, please send me email. I love to hear from you guys. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.